If Peter Safran and James Gunn are already canceling movies, can we throw out The Flash as well? Hi y'all, Snarky J Cosplay here. So I hate to be that guy, but I will be, because I usually am, right? So recently we've gotten some new clips and some new promo art from the Flash film that is set to release this year in 2023. The main clip that I'm going to be looking at in this video apparently was released at Comic-Con, got leaked, taken down, and then re-uploaded to Reddit today, actually. And I managed to take a look at it and save some of the footage for you guys in order to better discuss this Flash movie that we're all so excited about. So of course, besides the various interviews with people that are working on the movie, including villainous Ezra Miller himself, there's a lot of shots of concept art and such being used for the film. One of these is this shot of a bunch of different versions of characters, and the whole point of the Flash, as they've explained, is that this film is gonna see him finally open a multiverse. He's gonna go back in time to try and stop his mother's death. We've seen plenty of Flashpoint comics in the past. I personally thought the Flashpoint comics were really cool. I've never been that big a Flash fan, but based on the fact that Thomas Wayne is the one to become Batman instead of Bruce in Flashpoint, I knew that I really had an interest in that comic arc, and so I actually read the early ones and really enjoyed them. There were some parts of Flashpoint that I thought were really neat, including Superman being starved of the sun and showing up really skinny and afraid because he's basically been kidnapped by the government. I thought that was super interesting in terms of Flashpoint when they finally try to get together the Justice League, but this film doesn't do that. Instead, we actually get Sasha Calle playing Supergirl, which seems pretty neat. And she says this in the clip:
"Every day is the coolest, most exciting thing for me."
Which really made me feel kind of bad for her. She seems so excited to play Supergirl, and honestly, I could get cast as a janitor wiping up a floor in the background of one of these movies and I would still be so stoked just to participate. So for her sake, I'm really hoping that this is a good movie and that it does follow through and that the Supergirl arc established in this movie is good. But I'm just not seeing that it's gonna be. One of the main things that caught my attention in this particular video is all the different Batman stuff within it. Now, they mentioned working with Affleck and Keaton. We already knew that Affleck was supposed to make a cameo, and they showed us this really cool snippet. It's concept art of Batfleck on a bat cycle. And we also get this shot of a Michael Keaton bat suit. Now, I can't say I'm a particularly big fan of this suit. They're never gonna figure out how to let Michael Keaton's neck move, and I hate the fact that the suit feels so dull. It doesn't really feel like Michael Keaton, but whatever. The suits are not the issue here. The issue here is that it doesn't seem like this Ben Affleck thing is gonna stick, and it made me really sad to hear this.
Keaton said that he'd love to be Batman again. He knows that Batman like no one else does.
Especially because he was supposed to be Batman in the Batgirl movie, and even that got canned. Another part of this that really got me thinking was the mention of Gal Gadot's cameo.
Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
It seems like that did get filmed on account of the fact that this is now being discussed in behind-the-scenes videos. However, as of yet, we don't have any leaks about that. And honestly, I'm wondering if those are gonna be kept after the whole Henry Cavill Superman debacle. I made a video on that if you want to check that out, link in the description. I doubt that DC Studios and Warner Bros are gonna want to be teasing cameos to fans that they're basically just not gonna keep. So honestly, if The Flash does come out as planned, I wouldn't be surprised if these cameos are cut out, being that it seems like Batfleck is still out of the DCEU or DCU, whatever they're calling it this week, and it seems like Gal is probably on the outs too, being that James Gunn didn't deny that she would be out eventually. He just said that she hadn't been given the boot yet. Now, based on this,
There are superheroes to pull the heartstrings of every generation in this film.
It feels to me that this film is supposed to be DC's attempt at a no way home sort of thing. After all, if we're talking multi-generational, well, No Way Home had something for everybody. It had cameos from Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man movies, it had Andrew Garfield in it, it had cameos from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man movies, and it had Tobey Maguire in it. I mean, that film really got people excited, it got people to fill theater seats, and people were talking about this movie and speculating before it came out, during its release, and even now, like a full year later, people still talk about what a great movie it was. And to me, it seems like they're trying to make this, The Flash, that sort of thing. By bringing in Ben Affleck as Batman, you please all the Batfleck fanboys that didn't get what they wanted, and by bringing in Michael Keaton, you please a generation that grew up with Keaton's Batman, and even some younger people like myself who just really happen to like Keaton's portrayal. However, with all the drama surrounding this film, I don't think it has the legs to be DC's No Way Home. After all, people actually like Tom Holland. The guy's non-problematic, he dates Zendaya, and people think he's actually a pretty good Spider-Man and a pretty good Peter Parker. I don't think anybody really likes Ezra Miller as the Flash, and worst of all, the guy's like a real-life villain, and I think it's hilarious because in this clip he actually says this.
This is like the most hype beastly DC movie ever. It's gonna blow people's heads off.
And it turns out the guy is an actual criminal. Besides all that drama of people actually not even wanting to support Ezra Miller in anything anymore, and besides the weirdness surrounding the cameos, the will they, won't they of this film, this promo art leaked. And I want to take like a long minute to look at this. I want you guys to really focus on this. I'll say a few things. Let's start at the top, shall we? I think this design for Sasha Calle's Supergirl is pretty minimalist in a way, but I'm not unhappy with it. I think the skirt and little t-shirt deal for Supergirl is definitely a little old-fashioned and awful, so I don't mind this suit, and I think having the red detailing on the top by the cape instead of having a belt actually looks pretty neat. Looking over at what I presume to be Michael Keaton's Batman in that bottom right corner, I'm not entirely displeased with this suit, but I think that in regards to displaying Michael Keaton as Batman, you need a lot of those yellow elements, but design-wise, the structure of it, I actually don't mind it. In the middle, we have none other than Dennis the Menace himself, Ezra Miller, in one of the worst designed Flash suits I've ever seen. I get that we have to over-design Flash suits now, because other than that, they're basically pajamas. But this just ain't it. It's not as bad as the suit from the Justice League that I think looked like a toddler put it together, but this, I don't know. I think maybe it's the bulk of the helmet or the way the boots are cut. I don't know, there's just something about it that I really find displeasing. But there is nothing quite as bad as this eldritch horror sleep paralysis demon on the left side. Like, what is that? What is that? And I get it, okay, I've already read that in this version of The Flash, it's actually supposed to be a Michael Keaton bat suit that ended up being transformed into a Flash suit, which, okay, if we're thinking in comic logic here, that has no sense and no logic to it at all, because the Flash is so fast that the friction would literally like melt and burn all his clothes off, and that's why his suits are very specific to him. It's a comic book movie. I'm not gonna get super duper mad about that right now. My point is just how awful this looks. Like, why is the neck so thick? It looks like shit. I really, really hate it. This is just not right. I'm sorry. Based on this promo art, based on the concept art, based on what's being said about this film, and based on Ezra Miller just being a living nightmare, I have so little faith left in this movie. If it doesn't get canned in the next month and a half, I will genuinely be shocked. And if they don't can it, I'm telling you, I'm gonna be first in line to see what a disaster this is gonna be, because I have like no faith that this is gonna be a good movie at all. I'm sorry. And I feel so bad because I have so many friends that are really, really big Flash fans. I'm a big Bat fan, and I feel like we haven't really been served that much good content, but I really liked the Batman, so I got what I came for. But the Flash people, I am so sorry. This just ain't it. But anyway, I just really wanted to share that with you guys, and I really want to know what everybody else thinks of it. That's all from me. I've been Snarky J. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts on all this new Flash art in the comments below.